Yeah, you know who it is, and for those of you that don't, I'm Cytonius, and this is Manimation Station. The purpose of this show is to objectively discuss and analyze superhero animated shows from the past. I'll only be reviewing shows that have completed their run or aren't dropping any new episodes. I'll be discussing the voice cast, the behind the scenes, and my overall thoughts on the show's impact. Also, keep in mind that there will be spoilers. So, let's keep it moving. Today I'll be discussing Batman Beyond. Created in 1939 by artists Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger, Batman has been a mainstay in comics, film, and animation for decades. For a character like Batman, who is one of the most well-known and ubiquitous comic book characters of all time, I find it hard to come across new and innovative ways to present the character that don't seem stale or played out. In its 70-plus years as a pop culture mainstay, Batman has been a dark vigilante, a campy superhero, and a creature of the night who seeks justice, and a teenager fighting supervillains in futuristic Neo-Gotham City. Created by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Alan Burnett, and Glenn Murakami, Batman Beyond first aired January 10th, 1999, and ended its run December 18th, 2001, and ran for 3 seasons with a total of 52 episodes. This series was the result of the head of Kids WB, Jamie Kellner, wanting to do a Batman animated series for a younger audience. Kellner felt that the dark and complex storytelling that made Batman the Animated Series famous was alienating young children, and he wanted a show geared more towards kids. Wanting to create a series more in the vein of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Kellner envisioned the series with a young teenage Batman. Bruce Timm and his team reluctantly agreed and decided that they would make an edgier and more futuristic Batman series. Taking place 50 years after Bruce Wayne retires, this series is a spin-off of Batman the Animated Series and the third entry in the DC animated universe. Relying more on future tech and abandoning the gothic noir atmosphere for a more cyberpunk aesthetic, the story focuses on an aged Bruce Wayne training a new, younger Batman named Terry McGinnis in Neo-Gotham. Focusing on themes of legacy, redemption, isolation, and identity, Batman Beyond could be considered one of the most ambitious animated shows from Bruce Timm's DC universe. The idea that someone other than Bruce Wayne as Batman is a hard sell for lifelong fans such as myself. My initial reaction to Batman Beyond was,
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
I was upset that rather than moving forward with episodes of the new Batman and Superman adventures, they created a show with an old and retired Bruce Wayne and a young, new, inexperienced Batman who has no connection to the franchise. Now, some would consider these to be fanboy complaints, but Batman is such a clearly defined character that if someone else were to take up the role of Batman, they would have to be quite exceptional. What I find interesting about the series is that they take a very cliche teenage character and make him likable. Terry McGinnis isn't dark or brooding. He's actually a very well-adjusted young man. He's an everyman. Terry seems to be an amalgamation of the swashbuckling and outgoing traits of Dick Grayson, mixed with the everyman persona of Peter Parker. Terry McGinnis is voiced by Will Friedle. Famous for playing the character of Eric Matthews on the series Boy Meets World, this was Friedle's first venture into voice acting. Friedle gives Terry's voice an experienced yet youthful vibe that plays well off the aged and world-weary Bruce Wayne. The best aspect of the show, in my opinion, is the relationship between Bruce and Terry. In a bit of role reversing, Bruce plays the sardonic and experienced father figure, very similar to Alfred Pennyworth, whereas Terry is out in the field as Batman. Bruce and Terry operate as a unit, with Bruce functioning as the brains of the operation and Terry as the physical manifestation of Batman. Bruce Wayne is voiced by the legendary Kevin Conroy, famous for voicing the character since Batman the Animated Series. Because much of the production team comes from the previous DC animated shows, and those shows are famous for their takes on reinvigorating classic and obscure Batman and Superman villains, this series managed to create its own unique rogues gallery. What's truly interesting is that many of those villains are based on combining elements from both Batman and Spider-Man villains. From Derek Powers, aka Blight, being this show's Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, but also with the twist of Dr. Phosphorus, to the Stalker being Kraven the Hunter, from Ink being both the Sandman and the Venom symbiote, as well as the female equivalent to the Batman villain Clayface. Spellbinder is Mysterio, Shriek is Shocker, and even Terry McGinnis as Batman has a very Spider-Man aesthetic. He has enhanced strength, sticks to walls, and his suit is very reminiscent of the Black Spider-Man costume. In fact, I would say that the series is more of an attempt at Bruce Timm and his team at creating their version of a Marvel series. The DC universe is filled with godlike and supreme heroes who consist of billionaire crime fighters, mild-mannered supermen, Atlantean kings, and female warrior princesses. Batman Beyond is unique because Terry McGinnis is the complete opposite of what Batman is. He isn't driven or obsessive. For Terry, being Batman is more like a part-time job rather than a lifelong quest for justice. Whereas Bruce is driven by his inadequacy and fear, Terry is driven by guilt. Both Terry and Bruce's views of what Batman represent give layers to the myth of Batman. Both men are empowered by Batman, but in the case of Terry, he often struggles with the fact that he might be powerless without the suit, whereas Bruce is empowered with or without it. The series' first episode, titled Rebirth, begins in Gotham City, 2019, with Bruce Wayne, now in his 50s, attempting to rescue Bunny Vreeland, the daughter of the character Veronica Vreeland from Batman the Animated Series. During the fight, Bruce has a heart attack and is almost pushed to using a gun. Realizing he's past his prime, he decides that it's time for him to retire as Batman. We fast forward 20 years to what is now known as Neo Gotham. Instead of an urban noir dark deco style, the city is a fusion of cyberpunk, Japanese, and modern architecture. I feel like the creators went out of their way to create a fusion of traditional American animation and Japanese anime, which was gaining popularity at the time. A lot of Neo Gotham is reminiscent of Neo Tokyo from the 1988 anime film Akira. I feel like the Joker gang is also influenced by the Capsule gang from Akira as well. The 3 seasons of the series all aim to do different things, with season 1 focusing on corporate crime and classism, with villains like Spellbinder, Ink, and Shriek either working for rich wealthy businessmen or stealing from them. Season 1 is short with 13 episodes and a fluid continuity. I think this makes the storytelling tighter. The main villain of season 1 is Derek Powers, aka Blight. For me, Blight is the least interesting of any of the villains in season 1 or even the whole series. The whole evil businessman thing has been done to death, and because we never really know why he is evil, it just doesn't work for me. The one thing that the series does well is fleshing out villain motivations, but Blight is nothing more than a Saturday morning cartoon Skeletor from He-Man style character. One of my favorite episodes in season 1 is the episode Meltdown, which focuses on Mr. Freeze getting cured of his need to live in extreme cold temperatures. When Victor Freeze is resurrected by Derek Powers, he sets out to redeem his past crimes, which Terry supports. But Bruce's history with Mr. Freeze causes him to doubt the change. After being betrayed by Derek Powers, Freeze goes on a rampage and dies during the fight between him and Blight. Another dope episode is titled Heroes, when Terry goes up against a group of superheroes known as the Terrific Trio, who are a group of 3 scientists based on the Marvel heroes, the Fantastic Four. After learning the truth about how they got their powers, the Terrific Trio sets out to take revenge on the person who caused the accident that gave them their powers. A strong theme in season 1 is redemption and the gray areas between being a hero and a villain. Characters like Mr. Freeze and Melanie Walker, aka 10 from the Royal Flush Gang, are all sympathetic characters who have depth and personal conflicts that make you root for them to be the best versions of themselves. Season 1 ends with the episode Ascension, where Derek Powers turns to his son Paxton Powers to take over his company due to the radiation poisoning that turned him into Blight, taking full control. After losing his temper at a board meeting, Derek Powers is revealed as Blight, and it's up to Terry to stop him. In a somewhat anticlimactic ending, Blight is betrayed by his son and supposedly dies and is never heard from again. I think the issue with Blight is that he was designed as Terry's archenemy, but he's never seen or heard from again in the series. The reason for this was because the WB network wanted a kid-friendly show, and they felt that boardroom drama and high society villains wouldn't connect with the younger audience. Season 2 shifts the focus with more villains and conflicts having a connection to Terry's teenage life. Episodes like Splicers, Hidden Agenda, and Earth Mover focus on high school teen issues like family conflict and finding a sense of individuality. Season 2 expands Terry's social group, and we get episodes that focus on his girlfriend Dana Tan, and we're introduced to Terry's friend and secret ally, Max Gibson, voiced by Cree Summer, who some of you may know as Freddy from A Different World, along with hundreds of other animated voiceover roles. Max was added to the series to give diversity, but also as a relatable character that was Terry's age that he could share his secret identity with. Max operates as Terry's version of Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon. Max is an interesting character and shares some similarities with Tim Drake from the comics. In the episode Hidden Agenda, Max sets out to learn the secret identity of Batman. When Max suspects that one of her classmates is Batman, she gets caught up in a conflict with a jealous student who is secretly a member of the Joker's gang. By the end of the episode, Max figures that Terry is Batman and becomes an ally of Batman. Another episode worth mentioning is Zeta, which features an android assassin that is trying to escape his violent past and gain a sense of humanity. Zeta was spun off into his own show called The Zeta Project that ran for 2 seasons on the WB back in 2001 to 2002. Season 2 of Batman might be the best of the series. It's also the season with the most episodes, with a total of 26. Season 3 deals with the theme of legacy and Terry settling into his own version of Batman. We also delve more into Terry's past with the episode Big Time, where we meet Charlie Big Time Bigelow, an old friend of Terry who was released from prison. We learn more about Terry as a juvenile delinquent, and we learn that Big Time had a negative influence on Terry when they were kids. In the 2-part episode The Call, Terry is recruited by the future version of Superman to join the Justice League after Justice League member Micron is injured on a mission. Superman suspects foul play and asks Terry to help him find the traitor. After Terry is introduced to the members of the League, he has a hard time believing that any of them could be a traitor. When Terry and the League goes on a rescue mission in Metropolis, League member Warhawk is fatally hurt in action. Terry and Bruce investigate the attack on Warhawk and learn that the traitor in the League is Superman, who is mind controlled by the alien Starro. When the rest of the League is brainwashed by Starro, it's up to Terry to take on the mind-altered members of the Justice League. In the 2-part episode Curse of the Cobra, after Terry fails to take down a group of Cobra goons, Bruce takes Terry to train under Kairi Tanaga, an old friend of Bruce Wayne that trained under Yodo Sensei, Bruce's martial arts teacher from Batman the Animated Series. Terry meets a young martial arts protege named Xander, who is one of Kairi's top students. Xander and Terry become friends, but the friendship goes south when it's revealed that Xander is being groomed to lead the terrorist organization known as Cobra. My favorite episode in the entire series is Out of the Past. When Terry takes Bruce to see a stage show about Batman for his birthday, Bruce is unimpressed and offended by the musical. After leaving the show and returning home, Bruce is visited by Talia al Ghul, who has used the Lazarus Pit to retain her youth. Talia offers Bruce a chance to regain his youth. After refusing Talia's offer several times, Bruce accepts after being attacked by some muggers that he fights off with ease. The muggers take a young girl hostage and Bruce Wayne nearly dies while trying to save her. He accepts Talia's offer and uses the pit to restore his youth. This causes Terry to be concerned about his role and future as Batman. With his youth restored, Bruce still feels like he made the wrong decision and decides to return to Gotham with Terry. Informed that they're actually prisoners of Talia, Bruce and Terry fight side by side in one of the best moments in the entire series. When Bruce hears Ra's al Ghul's voice in Talia's room, he confronts her about Raj's whereabouts. Revealing that she is Ra's al Ghul, Bruce and Terry are overpowered by Raj's goons. Bruce is taken by Raj so that he can implant his consciousness into Bruce's body, and Terry is thrown into an alligator pit and left for dead. Revealing that the events that led Bruce to use the pit was a setup, Raj Al Ghul explains that his plan is to use Bruce's body as a vessel to claim his fortune as Bruce Wayne and Talia Al Ghul's long-lost son. But Terry comes back to save Bruce and take down Raj Al Ghul once and for all. During the fight, the Lazarus pit chamber is caught in a massive explosion. In an attempt to preserve the pit, Raj stays behind and is seemingly killed in the blast. Bruce and Terry return to Gotham City and Bruce makes peace with his old age. Batman Beyond is a series that was good but was held back by its episodic nature. I think a series like this works best with a fluid continuity and a bit more character development. That might seem like a diss, but it's actually a compliment. I feel like I never really got to know Terry McGinnis. Characters like Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon have the advantage of being fully developed through Batman the Animated Series. To me, Terry is never really pushed or fazed by anything outside of his father's death. I'm not saying that he should be brooding or tortured, I just think that Terry isn't a clearly defined character. Unfortunately, the series was cancelled after 3 seasons. If you want to know the reason why Batman Beyond was cancelled, be sure to check out Comic Historian's video titled What Happened to Batman Beyond. I left a link in the description. The Justice League episode Epilogue sets out to expand on Bruce and Terry's mythology by reworking the origin to make Terry Bruce's genetic son. I got mixed feelings about this. Supposedly, Amanda Waller was concerned about Bruce Wayne getting too old to be Batman and thought that a genetic clone would be the best option to keep Batman's legacy alive. I always thought this was weird, given the fact that Batman had at least 3 proteges. When the episode first aired, I was feeling it mainly because it served as a true finale to the series. But as time passed, it made less and less sense to me. To me, the best things ever done with the Batman Beyond franchise is the straight-to-DVD film Return of the Joker and the comic series Batman Beyond 2.0. Both of these stories do something that I wish was done more in the series, and that's answer questions like, where's the Joker? What happened to Robin and Nightwing? And why did Barbara Gordon quit being Batgirl? For a kids show, Batman Beyond was innovative in its multicultural visual aesthetic, creation of futuristic slang, and expansion of the Batman mythology. I can't call Batman Beyond my favorite action animated show, but I can't call it the worst. I think it boils down to preference. I prefer the dark, urban, and martial arts focused storytelling that was prominent in Batman the Animated Series. But Batman Beyond made me a believer. It made me believe that Terry McGinnis could be a worthy successor to Bruce Wayne. It made me believe that Batman is more than a man, that being Batman is an honor. Batman Beyond gets 3 out of 4 stars. Also, if you like this video or want to discuss any details about the show or recommend a show from Animation Station, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Speak Geek Unlimited for new videos dropping every week. And we out.
Get back in the kitchen!
It's Schwarbage.